Okay, so this is Ringwalk Media in association with Well Ice Therapy. It's fight week. It's not fight week without Savage Dan. How are you, mate?
Good. How are you? It's a good fight week. I've missed this place. I haven't been to Liverpool for feels like ages. I love this place, honestly.
Well, it's a bit bloody cold. Is all I can say.
It is cold. That's the one thing. That's why I went upstairs to do a head-to-head with Zach Chelly and Jack Cullen. I had to take the jacket off, and I was like, oh, it is freezing even inside, but. Here's what it is.
Well, I tell you what, it's a bit trendy, that jacket, mate. I tell you, where'd you get that?
It's a Burberry jacket, isn't it?
Yeah, I knew you was going to say that. He's showing all the labels.
You can barely tell. It's understated, isn't it? You can't tell unless you.
Apart from the big thing that says Burberry on the side of it.
Big, mate. Look at that. Can you see that? Can't see that.
Well, listen, a lot of good fights this week. What's your favourite apart from the main event? Forget the main event for a second.
If I'm looking at, I will say Zach Chelly and Jack Cullen. But I think that's too easy to say. So I want to look for something else. I think Mark Jeffers, Jermaine Brown will be a good fight as well.
That's going to be a war, that.
It is going to be a war because Jermaine likes to be first and kind of mark his territory. But so did Zach Chelly when he fought Jermaine, and he was better at it than him. And then Mark Jeffers was better than Zach Chelly when he fought him. Sorry for anyone.
It's like a love triangle.
It is. So now I'm really intrigued. Mark Jeffers announced himself on the scene. I'd heard whispers, but I obviously hadn't seen anything I hadn't watched his fights before that. As soon as I saw him get in there, he was razor sharp, and that's on 2 weeks' notice. This is a full camp. I expect a better version of him. Jermaine Brown put up something the other day on Instagram. He looked very, very good. He looks in top shape. He looks focused. This is a really good fight. I like that. So I'm going to go with that one as my curveball fight of the night.
Well, they both got something to prove because, of course, Jermaine Brown really needs to get back in there. And, of course, Mark Jeffers has kind of been pushed aside for the British title fight because Callum Simpson seems to have jumped into that spot.
Yeah, you know what? I completely forgot. I just did an interview and I was talking about the super middleweight, and I forgot to mention Callum Simpson in that mix. You know, it's a ridiculous mix. Super middleweight is probably the best division domestically. Light heavyweight might be around there as well, but as in, it's a really good division. Mark Jeffers is probably thinking, why am I not on the top table fighting for the British title? But I like that fight with Zach Chelly anyway. I think it's a decent rematch. And one where they both will have made changes. A lot of people will have thought Jack Cullen will be over the hill. Maybe seen the best of him. I think it was 2 losses maybe on the spin. And then he comes back with a ridiculously good KO of...
It was so good.
So good. Mark Heffron. No one was expecting that. If someone was going to get stopped, people would have probably put their money on Mark Heffron getting the stoppage.
Jack Cullen's mates are still out on the drink now from the money they made off the bookies, mate.
And it's them long levers. Forget about the butcher from Little Lever. He's got long levers and he manages to generate some decent power. He's very good at boxing long as well. So I like both of these fights. I'm looking at them as almost final eliminator fights for each other. You know, I feel like Mark Jeffers will fight the winner of Jack Cullen and Zach Chelly. So it's he's coming up under the radar. He's the dark horse. I think everyone who's sparred him and been to the Jennings gym knows how good he is. And the air of the unknown is kind of disappearing with him now. People know that he's good and he's dangerous. So maybe that will affect his performances. But I like him, man. I think he's good.
Another young lad that's kind of making his home debut here is Mikey Talon, managed by Natasha Jonas. We've seen him in his earlier fights. He had 3 fights in 12 weeks. He's an explosive little fighter.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't actually seen much of him until today. And I've heard good things. Obviously, Natasha's in the management game now. And she's going to pick up the best talent, especially if you're fighting 4 times in 12 weeks. 3 times, 4 times?
He's fought 3 times in 5 weeks, I think it was.
I know. That's someone who's going to quickly fly through the ranks. You know, before you know it, you got X amount of points on BoxRec, and you're in line for an English title. He speaks well, and he looks like he's here and he means business.
Well, talking of meaning business, the Jonas Mayer fight. It's a fight of proper champions, this one, especially, and coaches as well, Hall of Fame coaches. We've just had a chat to both of them, actually, and there's a lot of respect in the room, but that's all going to go out the window the second this fight starts.
Yeah, I think when you have that much respect for each other, it's just because you're going to punch each other in the face. You know it's a tough fight. For both of them, it's as close to a 50-50 as you can probably get. Tasha, home advantage. I've been to Anfield. I know what it can get like that. I've been to Goodison as well. I know what it can get like if the crowd get on top of you. Will Michaela be able to handle that, being in a cauldron? And it's not just you're in the cauldron. You're now also against an Olympian, somebody who probably shouldn't have a single loss on her record, if you ask me, Natasha.
You could say that for both of them, though.
I could say that because I actually don't think Maya lost to Baumgardner. Could say that for both of them. But then I'm putting the home advantage on there. Maybe the weight stipulation. Is Michaela too comfortable at 147, not having to kill herself? Whereas Natasha's been at 154 and she's come back down. She knows what her body feels like at this weight. Will that make a difference on fight night? Who knows? But I just think that Michaela's the type of fighter that wants to get you down the stretch. She'll probably give away a first couple of rounds just having a look whilst Natasha pings her. And then she starts to grind you down. Is 20 minutes enough time?
And when here starts another argument, mate, because of course a lot of the women now are starting to want those 3 minutes round. Of course, Amanda Serrano is now refusing to fight unless it is a 3 minute round. She's fighting next week, I think it is, out in Puerto Rico. Where do you see this going? Because I don't think this is going away now.
No, I like it. If they want to fight 3 minute rounds, why are we stopping them? I think. Obviously, I'm not sure what the reasons initially were for women fighting twos and men's fighting threes. Men's have fought threes since the beginning of whenever. I'm not sure why it was deemed necessary for women to fight 2 minute rounds, and that's just what it's been, But I like the fact that they want to fight 3 minute rounds. I think they should, If both fighters want to fight for 3 minutes, why not? I guess it might make a difference to your training. If you're training for 2 minute rounds, etc., you have to prepare for it.
Especially 12 3 minute rounds.
12 threes. As opposed to 10 twos, it's a huge difference, and a lot of a fighter like Michaela definitely needs that last minute, if you ask me. She figures you out and grinds you down. She could do with the extra 16 minutes in total. She could do with the extra minute in each round just to really, she works best. I won't say she works best tired, but it's almost like she does her best work when she knows you've lost a yard of pace there as well.
See, I think that might have changed though in this fight because she's gone up to 147, so she may actually not want it to go down that later stretch.
You never know. It depends how much it was killing her to make 130 or 135. 140. For me, she's looked good at all the weights, so I haven't really been able to work out where she's looked best. She's had her biggest success, obviously, at 130. Since then, she's gone up a weight, but she's been fighting opponents that probably she's just a level above anyway, so it's hard to really have any real indication. So the weight will be a talking point for sure. But I wonder. She's taller than Jonas.
Only just though. She had her heels on today.
She had the heels. Okay, she always looks massive in comparison. Maybe it's the heels. Maybe I'm only seeing the... Yeah, okay.
A bit like you with your heels on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wearing the high heels today.
And your Burberry.
Yes, but she has the advantage in kind of height and reach. So let's just see how that plays out. I have Natasha as the favourite. Bookies probably do as well. I'm not sure how people are seeing this. I don't expect Tasha to get old overnight. I expect her to not get old actually for a couple of years. I think she's in her prime. Some people hit it at 25. Most people hit it at 25. For whatever reason, she's hitting it at 37, 38, 39. She's just flying. Don't expect her to stop.
Well, listen, it's bound for a great night, a great card over here in Liverpool on the Boxer card. Of course, there's another big fight coming up early part of Feb. We've got Mr. Boazzi out and Mr. Aziz. That is a really good matchup that finally is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, that fight, I don't think anyone expected it, but you kind of half thought, oh, maybe it's going to happen when Boazzi came to Sky and to Boxer. We get it. I know a lot of people were skeptical about whether this fight would get a rescheduled date. For us, we're on the ground. We know it was always going to be rescheduled. We finally get it. There is a bit of animosity there. I was there when it flipping kicked off. I weren't even expecting it in that head to head. So it took me by surprise. And I think they just got to the point where they're just pissed off with each other now. For whatever reason, they've been preparing for each other for around 4 months, 5, whatever it is, however many months it is. And they're sick of the sight of each other. I went and saw Dan the other day, actually, and he's flying through camp. Josh will be flying through camp as well. And on February 3rd, they finally get to put hands on each other and then be friends after, hopefully.
It'll be settled, won't it?
Yeah, I really do think it's a top fight. And yeah, and we're adding to that card now. Ben Whittaker's on the card. Fran Hennessy's on that card. We're going to finalise that card with a couple of more fights as well. And then, it's on to March 2nd. I'm not sure if I should have said it. Well, yeah.
Go on, keep going. March 2nd, what?
Yeah, then potentially, we're... There's whispers, not whispers. That have to be
backtracking now.
Well, yeah, there's fights that we want to get done. We know that boxing now requires the best fight and the best, and the fights that people actually want to see. We want to make Marku versus Congo. We want to make that fight. There's loads of fights that should happen, and hopefully we can get them in March.
Well, let's hope so. You nearly dropped a clanger there, didn't you?
Almost.
Well, listen, final predictions for Jonas Mayer and for Cullen Chelly.
I am going to go... I'm going to pussy out on the Cullen Chelly. And I'm going to say a draw again.
I think the place will go mad if that happens.
I'm not sure what the odds are, but listen, may as well do it. If it's 33-1, whatever a draw is, I'm going draw at 33-1.
Jonas Mayer?
I'm going to go Natasha Jonas unanimous decision.
Well, listen, brilliant to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time. We will see if you're all right on Saturday night, mate.
I think I will be. I have a feeling I will get money on that draw.
Thank you, mate.